This is a summary of the 12 or so investment reports available with SuperMonitor. First, if you go to the main menu and select investment reports, you'll be presented with a number of options. The first one is an investment summary report. If you press there, you can see that this report summarizes all the investments you have onto one page. So in the top part of the report, it has a summary of all the bank accounts and term deposits and the valuation of those, and a total for term deposits and savings, then a total for all your share investments, your managed funds and your other assets, giving you a grand total of all your investments. If you take the small arrow, the next option is investment detail report. So it's going to provide detailed reports on term deposits, shares, managed funds, other assets and term deposits. So taking the term deposit and saving, the top one, there are a number of options always available in these reports. Firstly, there's a type of investment you wish to look at. Do you want to look at all of them, a saving one or a term deposit? Do you want to look at one bank account or all, a specific account? And how far do you wish to look out, and it defaults for a 12-month period. Press the PDF, it will then generate the report. And there you can see that those top two entries are accounts with the CBA. It gives you the account name, the account number, the amount and the annual interest and interest percent. And on the right hand side you can see what the value is month by month. So it's got the amount of interest you'll earn in that month, the cumulative interest you're earning and the total amount of that investment. And if you page to the bottom of the screen, it'll add that up for a grand total. So you can now see for term deposits and savings what your grand total valuation is, what the monthly interest will be in that month, and also what the grand total of the cumulative interest. Again, just using the return arrow and then back to the main menu. The next option you've got is to look at shares. And again, I'll take the default of looking at all of them. And within shares, it's just got the description, the name, the yield, the quantity, the average cost that you've paid, and the total kind of cost of those at the moment. And then on the right hand side, it's got current price, current valuation, and it gives you a profit and loss by share. Return arrow, then back to the main menu. Managed funds, very similar. I'll just take the default. It's just got a description of your managed fund, the quantity, the average cost you've paid for those, and the total cost that you've paid, the current price, the current value, and a profit and loss statement. So taking the return arrow, back to the main menu. Now if you look at other assets are just a description, the date you purchased them, the date you paid, the price you paid, the date you sold it, the price you sold for it, and a profit and loss by asset with some totals. Return arrow, back to the main menu, term deposit, take the defaults, and here again it just has the term deposit, the description, the investment period, the investment percent, the original amount that you may have deposited in that term deposit, the amount remaining, and in this case it shows you that we've actually withdrawn the monies from this term deposit, the value, or there's no value on this one because it's all been withdrawn, and the code at the end indicating that it is now closed, that term deposit, and that restricts it from reporting on some reports. So that was investment detail. And back to the main menu. Now taking the option of interest forecast. Again, I just take the options PDF. Now here we have all the forecasted interest as a cumulative number. So you can get the total interest by all your bank accounts with the total interest month by month. And it is cumulative. So it gives you a bit of an idea, for instance, out to February 14, the cumulative interest will be $10,196 being earned. Alright, return arrow, back to the main menu. Interest actual, take the defaults, PDF. This is just a summary of all the interest that you have manually entered against all your bank accounts. So it's got the account number, account name, the interest and the date. Taking the return arrow, back to the main menu. Budget, taking the defaults, PDF. You see here that it just summarises all the budget expense items that you have. There's only two here, a loan and a holiday, giving you a grand total of your budget expenditures month by month. Return arrow, back to the main menu. Dividend income forecast. Now taking the defaults, press PDF. This describes the expected forecasted income from dividends for your shares, managed funds and other, and it gives you a grand total. As you can also see, if you page out, you can see that some of the dividends are for my shares are forecast to come in March and April, as are my managed funds. Okay, back to return arrow, back to the main menu. The dividend income actuals, take the defaults, PDF. This is just reporting on the dividends that you've actually entered in. Again, they are sorted into the categories of shares and managed funds, and they're sorted by date. Return arrow, back to the main menu. Cash flow, take the default, PDF. This is describing the total interest or the total income you're expected from all your investments. So it takes into account the interest from the bank accounts and term deposits, your share dividends, your managed fund dividends, and any income from other assets, and gives you a total income. It adds up the total budget expenditure and gives you a monthly cash flow, and also reports a cumulative cash flow. Return arrow, back to the main menu. The final option in investment reports are actually inquiry, so it's called investment inquiry, and here you have a quick look at all your investments. So you take into account bank accounts. Again, it will default to the first available, and it will tell you a little bit about that bank account, the name, number, the amount that's currently in there, and the annual interest that you've set. And obviously with these disclosure triangles, you can select other bank accounts and other bank accounts to review those. Right, back to the main menu. You can do the same with term deposits. Take the default. It just describes very quickly for you the information about that term deposit, the amount, the date it was invested, the annual interest rate, the investment period for that term deposit. Back to the main menu. Shares. Again, for every share, it'll give you the code, the quantity, the average price you've paid, current information, the dividend yield, and which months are currently scheduled for the dividends. Managed funds, very much the same. It gives you the code, the name, the quantity, the average price, the current price, the dividend yield, and when you can expect the dividends to be paid. Other assets, again, just a description of it, the price you paid, and the monthly income. Back to the main menu. So just a very useful facility there to have a quick look at an inquiry into your investments. Back to the main menu. That finishes the section on investment reports.